So it's the beginning of April. The fill and compaction of the material above the platea is basically done. There's just a few little areas at the far end of the building that need to be addressed. So what we've done is fill up to the top of these 2 layers of block that are down in here. And so all the columns, even if they're in line with walls, they have concrete down in there a little bit. We'll just need to clean the fill material out before we continue with concrete with those columns. But the forming and pouring of all these columns will take place after the block work. This is one of what we call the garden strips. It's basically an alleyway between the 2 building sections to allow ventilation to the rooms that are adjacent to this alley. And what we've done is compacted material in here that's at a slope going away from us. So if water gets in here, it will naturally find its way out. We will put a thin concrete cap on top of this, then put a drain pipe, pretty much a French drain system with gravel. And then of course, if we want to end up putting plants or vegetation in this area, we can after that, but we'll know that water's not an issue. This is kind of the main lobby area of the building. It's all filled. This is kind of the central garden. These columns were poured up 2 meters high. These were done because they were freestanding at the time, so we could get this compaction done in this area. During the compaction, we did use this hose very regularly, to water this fill material so that it would properly compact. So basically the only thing left to do are these little areas where we added some block work after we had done the fill and compaction. Realized these were doorways, little miscommunication with the block people as far as whether we needed these block in place, but we do in fact. So here's another one of the long garden sections that has material in it to help water find its way out. This is some of the material that we have had ordered when we did the platea, sand and gravel. Some of that actually belongs to the guest house construction teams, so they have some material here that was purchased at a volume discount, so to speak. You can see the wall has been completed. A good portion of the south side of the property, or at least the block work, is done. Still needs the top beam or viga, and then even this west wall needs some finish work done to it. Frank has taken over as a farmer in the area, and actually he knocked the topsoil that we had stockpiled back here, knocked that down level with a grader. Paid a grader to come do that, and then they've planted yucca on it. And then he has a bunch of plantains and bananas planted in this area. He's financed this himself and plans to pay himself back for what's been done, and whatever additional money is left over he'll give to the project. We do have some remaining rebar stockpiled here that we'll use for beams and vigas. That's there under the blue tarp. Over here at the west side of the property, close to the wall, we have a well where we can get our own water. We will soon be connecting up to a new water line that's been run out the highway past us, about 2 kilometer 5. This metal fence was put in January. It's been very nice to have to provide security. What you don't see, you're less tempted to steal. When Laura, the concrete company, was here, of course, they put in that well for water. They ran this 2-inch pipe that comes over to this cistern. So this cistern is what we're using for water for the fill and compaction, to be sure it's got the right moisture content in it. And then we recently have gone ahead and kind of hard piped a pressurized pump, and that goes over to a hose bib over next to the building. Here's the hose bib located close to the building. So we'll be able to use that for masonry work so they can. Here's the hose bib located close to the front of the building here in this corner. That's worked out very well to let the guys have a hose to easily put water into this material so it compacts properly. So obviously we'll use that same hose for the masons to mix mortar and any concrete. The next step that will take place, we will locate where all the drains need to be in the building and have guys carefully dig properly sloped trenches so that when we lay drain pipes in those trenches, they will be at the correct slope to properly drain and function. Those pipes will be set in a fine sand or gravel and then covered with that same material so that they'll be very well protected and properly in place. And then we'll do a little compacting on top of where those pipes are in place. At the same time, we should be able to get block walls started. That will really be fun to see the walls come up out of the ground. So this is where we are with the site. We tried to get the site cleaned up with our little skid steer loader that Caterpillar had so generously donated to us. They picked it up the end of March, so that ends that time with that machine. But we wanted to try and get the job site cleaned up fairly well, initially graded, so it'll be a good site to continue work on. That's it from the Dominican. Back when we were finishing the fill and compaction of the land, we had brought additional material at the end of that phase and stockpiled it in this southeast corner of the property. And as you can see, that is now all gone. We used all that material to put into the building on top of the platea. Had just about the right amount of material, so it worked out very well.